Hey folks, welcome to another edition of BrushPile Fishing. It's the last week of March. We're at Wheeler Lake, Alabama, and we got a special show in store today. Tournament pro Kevin McCarley is going to join us, and this is going to be one of the shows that we do where we're going to let him explain how he uses the LiveScope when he's tournament fishing. Kevin has become one of the best tournament anglers in the country, him and his partner John Harrison, Louisiana John Harrison. They're a great team, and today I'm not going to do much fishing, if any at all, because I want him to explain what he's doing, and I'm going to help try to bring it along. So stay tuned, we'll be right back with BrushPile Fishing.
Many people look at a lake and feel a sense of calm serenity. Crappie fishermen feel the heart-pounding anticipation of the thump. That's why host Russ Bailey is addicted to crappie fishing. It's this addiction that takes Russ from the Midwest to the Deep South in search of the best lakes, techniques, and patterns from some of the best crappie anglers in the country. Right here on BrushPile Fishing.
Hey folks, welcome back to BrushPile Fishing here at Wheeler Lake in Alabama with Kevin McCarley. Kevin, how we doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you, sir?
Kevin, I want to tell you something, man. So one of our shows that just aired, we were in a my big blue coat, seems like I wear all the time, and one of the comments we got was, you know, Russ, you're always in that winter clothes, always talking about cold fronts. Go fish somewhere warm. So we come down to Alabama. You tell me you were in the 80s, 31 degrees this morning, man.
Well, man, you brought it with you. You always do. It never fails. Every time you come here, you bring some cold weather with you, Russ.
Well, I'll tell you what,
it's
folks,
chilly this morning, though, yeah.
It is. This is going to be a little bit different show. Like I say in the opening, you know, one show per series. We like to go with different tournament pro and get your view on how you use the LiveScope. And I know you said we're going to try a couple different patterns with that LiveScope this morning.
Right. That's right. We're going to start out trying in the structure.
Okay.
Or actually, you know, cover.
Okay.
Any kind of stake bed, stumps. We're going to try to target those fish on that. And then we'll also look for some open water fish, too.
Okay.
Those open water fish sometimes can be a little more aggressive, especially with a little cold snap like this. Sometimes those roaming fish can be a little more aggressive. So we're going to try both patterns. We'll be using, you know, a casting rod. Then we'll also do a little bit of dead sticking on them, too.
All right. Well, folks, he's got one LiveScope unit, so today I'm not really going to fish. I'm just going to try to explain what he's doing, and if you've got questions, because we've got the Ask the Angler. So I'm ready to learn. I do every time. You know, we did a show like this with Tom Hankins. I learned a ton. Hoping to learn some more this morning. You ready?
Yes, sir. Let me get some more clothes on for this
ride. Get some
ride,
clothes on, and here we go.
Get some more clothes on. We'll be ready to roll.
All right, Wheeler Lake. Here we go, folks.
Here's the lake information, sponsored by Mossback Fish Habitat.
All right, folks, so one show series we like to do, get with the tournament guy. Last year it was Tom Hankins, and show how he utilizes the LiveScope for tournament fishing. Today, I'm with Kevin McCarley, and Kevin, now Tom had two different LiveScopes for one for his partner, but a lot of guys still have one LiveScope. It is tough to fish, especially tournament situations, with one guy using, or two guys using one LiveScope, because that transducer, you're constantly changing that. So a lot of times what you're seeing with teams is one guy is actually fishing, the other guy is ready with that net, getting another rod ready. We talked about Hayden Jeffries, you know, watching them.
So efficient.
Yep.
They're efficient.
It's like a machine.
That's right. That's right. And normally the guy that's got his foot on the trolling motor has the advantage of being able to make the correct pitches at the fish. As opposed, say, if I'm running the trolling motor and you're trying to pitch, you don't know when I'm going to move my foot.
Yep.
You don't know when I'm going to move that trolling motor.
Well, and so many times, especially chasing single fish, that fish is in front of us, all of a sudden it's here.
That's right.
So if you got a guy over here, now I've got to reach across you.
That's right, that's right. And then, you know, if both of you are trying to fish for the same fish, next thing you know, you're all tangled up. You've got your lines crossed among each other. it's just so much easier for the guy that is operating the trolling motor to do the fishing as well.
So what we're going to do, Kevin's going to explain some of the things that he does, especially here on Wheeler Lake and when he's tournament fishing. I'm basically going to narrate some of this to you folks and then let you know what we're doing, because you're going to see his head's going to be on that screen, which again, this show is trying to focus on what tournament guys do, and they are. Their head is on that screen the whole time. So we're going to fish some stake beds, some brush piles, stumps, and we'll see what happens
secondary
here.
creek channel.
And I know you've put a lot of stake beds in. We're in the last week of March. We've got water temperature about 60, almost 61 degrees here. And I know it seems like every time we do a show, especially with you, Kevin, we run into a cold front. It was
fails.
80 degrees here all last week. It was 31 when we got up this morning. Temperatures are going to climb in the 60s, but they haven't done that yet.
It's got the fish a little bit slow, lethargic this morning, but they're here, and as the day goes, those fish will start, you know, there's a lot of fish going to spend their time in the mud. There's going to be a lot of fish in the mud. But as the day goes and the temperature rises, those fish will come off that bottom, and they'll want to start sunning. They're going to get out there right underneath that surface sometimes. Last week or so, actually this week, I had a couple of trips with people, and we were catching fish 1 foot under the surface.
Wow.
But there again, we were, you know,
80 degrees.
80 degrees, sun comes up, warms things up, those fish get a little more active. You know, we'll try to do is just try to kind of show people here what we do in tournaments. And you know, chasing fish, one of the biggest things or keys for me to getting these fish to bite is once that fish sees that bait, do not stop reeling your lure. Do not stop taking it away from him. If you ever stop or let that bait fall back below him, gigs up. Gigs up, the fish is gone. He's going to lose interest. The next thing you know, he's gone. So one of the biggest keys for anybody, whether you're, you know, using LiveScope or you're just putting out a marker and throwing, once you get a steady retrieve, keep that steady retrieve. I mean, I know a lot of people like to bob them and stuff, but the screen has showed us that that is not the key to success.
Yeah. You know, want that steady retrieve. Some of them will chase it, won't hit, but some of them are going to hit it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of them are going to chase it, some of them are not.
Your gear and conditions sponsored by Millertech Lithium.
Right now, he's fishing one of his stake beds that he's put in. You can see that nice and clear on the screen. About 10 foot of water right now. We're talking Wheeler Lake here in Alabama. Last week of March, you got a fish coming out of that stake for that.
Ooh, went right back down. He followed it. He didn't like it, did he?
And with that cold, these fish, a lot of them are chasing, not walloping that jig like they normally would, or like they would last week.
That's right. It was 80 degrees, but it is a spawn. You know, springtime fish can be some of the most finicky fish too. You know, you think that, well, they're just going to tear it up every time out, but that's not always the case.
Now, speaking of the spawn, on a typical year, you say middle of March start your spawn down here?
Pre-spawn will be February.
Okay.
They'll start spawning in the middle of March, and they'll run through all the way through April spawning.
Now, Kevin, you're guiding now here in Alabama. What's some of the lakes you like to guide on?
I guide on some of the lakes in Russellville, the Little Bear, Cedar Creek, the Bear Creek Development Association lakes. Reason I'm allowed to do that is I am not a Coast Guard six-pack licensed captain.
Okay.
And to be able to actually guide on the Tennessee River, because it is navigable waters, you have to have that Coast Guard six-pack license.
Gotcha. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the cold has definitely affected the bite here.
It's definitely affected a little bit. There goes a fish off the bottom. He's kind of swimming around. He's going to head toward that other little stake bed. There's a couple in there. There he is.
There you go. There you
A
go.
little better. He's still not really what the caliber of fish that we're expecting today, but
you see, he saw it on that log out there. He says a couple fish. First time, he got right over the structure. Bam. Well, Kevin, we made a move. We've got another big brush pile, and there's fish on that. And again, folks, if you just joined us, Kevin's talking about how he live scopes when he gets in the tournament. There we go. Oh! And that's how Kevin sets the hook. Oh, doggone.
little black crappie.
You can tell that water's still kind of cold. He's not real dark yet, is he?
No, he's not colored up at all or anything. It's
Nice. Move paid off, Kevin, Mr. Tournament Guy. Nice fish, bud.
paid off. We need some bigger ones, but we'll take that and start.
Kevin, that last one was pretty darn good.
Yeah, it
man.
wasn't bad. Yeah, it's a pretty decent fish. We found a brush pile that I'd actually drug from the bank and put out here. And it's basically a tree, and it looked like it was pretty full. I've also got some stake beds in this area and stuff too, but we didn't see a whole lot on the stake beds, but they seemed to be. There were several fish in that brush, so we're just going to pinpoint on that brush and see if we can pick up a few off of it.
Now, one of the things I did want to talk about today, because here on Wheeler too, I do want the folks to know what kind of limits do you guys have here in case they want to come down here and fun fish.
You've got the size limit is 9 inches.
Okay.
And then you've got 30 per man.
Okay, that's
Real
plenty.
limit.
That's
Plenty of fish, folks. 30. You know, I know some folks that live in places that don't even have a size limit. To me, that seems kind of odd, but yeah. Yeah, 9 inches and 30 a man.
And you know, folks, want to bring this up. I know there's different feelings out there about LiveScope. You know, some guys are totally against it. Some guys are totally for it. Your tournament guys, being realistic, if you're not live scoping right now, your chances of competing are very, very slim.
Zero.
You know, and that's the way it is. And that's why at least one show a year, we want to bring you out with a tournament guy and let you know what they're doing different. Now, when I use my live scope, a couple reasons. I want to know, are the fish under the dock, or are they under the pontoon that I'm going to fish? Or are they in that brush pile? And I just want to see, are they in it? Are they around it? And then I go back to basically doing what I normally do, or even standing timber. And the one thing it does for me, it can eliminate water.
That's
if
right.
I see the fish aren't there, I'm not going to waste my time.
You're not sitting there wasting time. And that's what us as tournament guys, I mean, you've only got 8 hours to try to put the 7 biggest fish you can in the boat. And it seems like a long time, but every minute counts when you're tournament fishing, and if you're sitting on somewhere that isn't even holding fish, then you're wasting time. So it's really crucial for us as tournament guys to have that tool and that technology to help us. I'm going to zoom this thing in. I like to keep it, once I locate something, I'll keep mine on about 60.
Okay.
And once I locate what I'm looking for, I try to bring it in and run it at about 40.
Gotcha.
Seems to be the most efficient for me.
And I've
So it
noticed
looks like this is pretty full of fish, so we're going to just keep trying to run this bait across the top of that. And just remember, guys, always keep that bait above that fish. You want to run that bait above that fish.
definitely some fish in there. And that's where this last fish came from, folks. See if we can get a couple more out of this.
We've got one following. I like to call a sniffer.
Didn't want it, did he?
That's okay. We're going to go back for his brother. His brother may be a little more hungry.
And you know, we talked about this earlier, but everyone has their favorite way of getting those fish to hit, or what, you know, you like a good steady retrieve.
That's right.
And just keep it moving.
That's right. Seems to work best for me. Everybody's different, got their own way. We've got one following there, but he's a little bitty guy. We don't even want him. We're just going to get the bait away from him, get repositioned, try to recast into that pile. Looks like there might be some better fish on that there on the way, so let's see what happens on this cast. And
just like anything else, folks, if you want to get good on a LiveScope, it's just time on the water. You got to know how to make those precision casts and how to miss those fish
That's
right there.
That's the key, is knowing how to miss them. You got to learn that before you can learn how to catch them.
I will say this, when I first got my LiveScope, it is probably the easiest depth finder to learn straight out the box.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically plug it in and start playing.
It's plug and play pretty much totally. I mean, there's not a lot you have to do to it to start catching fish with it. We've got several smaller fish, but we really want to concentrate on something a little bit bigger than that if we can, especially me and my ways of being a tournament guy. Seems like most time now when I go out, I'm looking for 7 big fish no matter where I go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of my weight, and you know, but the one thing it's done for me, it's allowed me to turn these fish loose. Used to when we'd spider rig or long line or whatever, you know, every fish you caught went in the box.
Yeah.
Because you just felt fortunate to catch a fish. Well, now with this technology, I feel like, you know, hey, I can go catch some fish, but I don't have to keep every fish that I catch. So it's really probably helping more than it's hurting. You know, I hear people talk about the LiveScope hurting, but I kind of disagree. I think it helps more. But it's like anything. Everybody's got their own opinion.
You got it. So folks, what you've seen, we've went from Kevin fishing in structure, whether it was the brush piles or stake beds, to now he's chasing some of these roaming fish. Single fish, we've seen a couple, 2 fish, but no structure or anything, and there he goes. And hopefully you got to see that one hit on there by himself.
He's all by himself, sitting out there floating.
We're not getting them hogs today. That cold front definitely did something.
Well, I've already noticed a few of them sitting on the bottom. It's not quite the caliber that we're used to here, but
First roaming fish we have,
yeah.
And we've been here about 10 minutes or so.
And all I had to do is get it in front of his face, and he saw it, and he's gonna come get it.
One thing, I'm not sure when this show airs if you'll be able to tell how tough the bite was, because so many of these fish have chased a bait and just absolutely will not hit it. But folks, it shows it goes to the best tournament pros also. I mean, some days it happens like that.
Some days good, some days bad.
The fish still control it, bottom line.
That's right. It's fishing, it's still not catching, regardless of what kind of equipment you have.
Got a couple roamers coming up here. Good position.
Sometimes they want it, sometimes they don't.
The other thing, folks, I'm not sure if you noticed, depending on where these fish are at, Kevin has changed rods 2 or 3 times, from a sharpshooter 6 to the 8-foot blue diamond to the brush cutter 12-footer.
Yes, sir.
Depending on where he's targeting these fish. And he's made several switches as we've started this today.
And that's what you got to do on that tough bite. Sometimes you just got to change up from, it's never going to be originally what you had planned.
Yeah.
That's just, nature of the beast, I guess you might say. I'm actually pitching behind me because that's where these fish are located. The main key, guys, is keep that bait above that fish.
There he goes. There he goes.
There he is.
Got to see that one.
Another kind of small fish.
No monsters, but just
monsters. Just old cookie
cutters.
cutters.
Tough, not too bad.
That's right. We'll take what we can get when it's like this.
Ask the Angler, sponsored by Garmin.
All right, folks, now it's time for our segment, Ask the Angler, and today's question came in from Rick Hudgel, I believe in Ohio. And Kevin, Rick wants to know, you as a tournament angler, when conditions are tough, what are 3 things that you would look to change during that day or adjust?
One thing for sure is going to be the presentation that you present to those fish. If you're normally catching them, say casting, bringing it by them, they're kind of responsive, but not. You might need to go to dead sticking them.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is go to a 12, a 16, a 13-foot rod. Try to get that bait right straight over their head, on their nose, and almost aggravate them into biting.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
What's one more thing?
Probably, I would say, not so much color, but change the profile of your bait of some sort. You know, like say go from, if you're using the crappie magnet, the regular crappie magnet, maybe go to a slab curly or something. You know, go to some type of different profile, or the tiny dancer. Go to a different profile bait, that, and change your approach to how you're presenting the bait to the fish.
Okay.
That'd be the 2 things that I would do different to try to help increase your odds.
Well, that's real nice, Kevin, but Rick asked for 3 things. So
I'm sorry, Rick. I'm sorry, Rick. I would say probably if you're having trouble, what you need to do is, say if you're thinking that morning that your fish are going to be in, say, 5 to 10 foot of water, okay, and they've been there for the week prior during your pre-fishing, and this has happened to me in a tournament too. I feel like those fish will be in 5, 10 foot of water where I found them. Well, we got a cold front, okay? Those fish have not left that area, but they've probably just moved to deeper water. So if you're struggling one day of where you think those fish should be, or you're not seeing the size fish that you want, try to go a little deeper, or if you started deeper, go shallower. Those fish have not gone far. They're gonna be in that area. Just either change your depth would be my suggestion on that.
There you go, Mr. Hudgel. Ask the Angler right here on BrushPile Fishing.
There he is.
Look at that one.
It's a little better fish right there, Russ.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yes it is. Get him, man. Get him,
Come
man.
here, come here.
Oh, you could tell on the screen he was a bigger fish.
Yeah, you could tell on the screen right there he was a bigger fish. You know.
So, 2 things he's tried today, fishing in structure and the roaming fish. So far, roaming fish, the bite is more aggressive and getting some quality fish.
That's
nice
right.
Job.
You know, the thing too is, one thing I have found with these roaming fish, if you get a bait in front of them, 90% of the time, they're gonna hit it. A little better quality, it's like a 1-2, you know, pound a quarter fish. Good, good eating size right there.
And now, the BrushPile Gear Check.
Hey guys, Kevin McCarley here, BrushPile Fishing Gear Check. What we're using today was the B&M poles, 12-foot brush cutter. We also were using the 8-foot Diamond Series rod by B&M. This is the 8-foot Diamond Series. And guys, it doesn't look like a very strong rod, but that last fish we just caught, we boat flipped that fish with this rod right here, and he's over 2 pounds. He's probably a 2 1/4. Great rod. Got him hooked up there with a 75 series reels. Probably one of my favorite reels that B&M's come out with. Smooth, great casting, love it. We were using the eye-hole jig in orange, and we were pairing it with a crappie magnet. This combination worked good for us today, and it seemed like when we got on these roaming fish, they really wanted to chase it. Worked out good. B&M poles, crappie magnet, eye-hole jig, great combination here on the Tennessee River and Wheeler Lake. I want to catch this fish, and at the same time I don't, because I know he's not big. Watch that guy's attention.
He's coming. He got you.
Yep, right there.
That.
He's a little better than I thought. Oh yeah. Oh, Mondo! Mondo! You want to talk about a 2.5,
He wasn't
baby?
that good.
I didn't think
Oh,
he
you
was.
said he wasn't that good.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at that, folks.
Look, folks.
Oh.
That's what we come crappie
Yeah, that's
fishing
not
for
bad.
right there, baby. That's a
That's not
giant.
bad.
That's a giant right there, folks. That's what we come for.
That's the one we're going to end it on right there. Oh, God.
I'm going to say that right there is, we'll weigh him in a second. I guarantee he's a 230.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a 230 at least, probably. Whew. Big fish right there.
Kevin, folks, that's the one we're going to end it on. Again, we try to do one show a year where we go out with the tournament guy and just let them explain how they're tournament fishing. And one of the things I hope you've seen today, it's a lot of work, and you've got to be to where you can adjust, because the game plan we had this morning didn't work.
Did not work. Did not work.
We went after these roaming fish instead, and oh my goodness, different bite, a lot different bite.
I mean, what we changed locations, went after these roaming fish, and we've caught 5 or 6 here in like 30 minutes, you know? So, I mean, you get on those roaming fish and you put a bait in front of them, majority of the time, they're gonna bite it.
Yep.
Yep.
And again, folks, I know there's some people say they're against LiveScope, some are all for it. All I'm saying, if you're going to tournament fish, you have to be to where you can use it, because
That's right.
to compete on the big major trails, this is the way it's done now.
That's
Kevin,
right.
thanks for sharing your
You're
secrets
welcome,
with
buddy.
me.
No
I'll tell you
sweat.
what,
I enjoyed it.
I'll tell you what, whether it was with Tommy Hankins or you or William Oliver, every time I go out, because I don't tournament fish, I use LiveScope just to see my fisher and structure. Yeah, I feel like I learn something every time, and today, eye opener again, because I would have bet anything those fish in the structure would have been a lot more aggressive than these over. Man,
Right.
It was complete opposite.
Yeah, open water fish, to me, that's where it's at. And I mean, if you're not catching fish like this in a tournament, you're not gonna win.
Right.
You've got to have 7 big fish like this to even have a chance, you know, against these guys. Because these guys out there, they're so good, you know.
Well, again,
Hey,
thank you very much.
pleasure, brother.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned, because we'll be back again with BrushPile Fishing.
Well, she's down to about 264, 264. And guys, look at the belly on that fish. That is a fish full of eggs, ready to spawn. All right, guys, one thing I like to do on these great big females like that, and you saw we just weighed it, she was bumping between 268, 264. I don't need that fish. I don't need to clean that fish. What we need to do as anglers, turn them big old girls loose, especially when they're full of eggs like that and about to lay. Help the population, maybe let another angler catch this fish. Big 260 right here, guys. We're gonna turn this one loose. Let her go for another day. Get on down there, girl.
Special thanks to B&M Pole Company, War Eagle Boats, Crappie Magnet, Slime Line Fishing Line, Cornfield Fishing Gear, Eye-Hole Jig, Easy Drift, Driftmaster, Offshore Tackle Company, Power Pole, Mossback Fish Habitat, Purpose Built Optics, Garmin, Stan's Slip Bobbers, Bob's Cycle Repair, Millertech Lithium,